Hey guys, another video coming up from Statis Pro. If you were familiar with the movie Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, when Apollo Creed had that draw with Rocky and he said there ain't gonna be no rematch. Well, we did Sparky Bowl 1 and 1.5, and Sparky from the Detroit side said yes, there is going to be a rematch. So we are presenting Sparky Bowl 2, and Sparky Bowl 1 was done with History Maker Baseball. Sparky Bowl 2 is made possible by Statis Pro Great Teams. And both of these teams, the 84 Tigers and the 75 Reds, were included in the set. So that's what we're going to do. And in this game, the Tigers have the home field advantage. They will be playing in Tiger Stadium. And we're going to go to the field now and get ready for today's game. And we'll do that in just one moment. Okay, we're all ready for Sparky Bowl 2. In Sparky Bowl 1, both teams sent their ace pitchers to the mound, Don Gullett and Jack Morris. But since this is a number 2, we're going to go with the number 2, arguably the second best starters on each of the teams. And for the Tigers, that means Dan Petrie, a right-hander. And for the Reds, that means Gary Nolan, another right-hander. The starter reduction rating for Petrie is 14, so we have the pawn there on 14. And for Nolan, it's 13, so we've got the pawn there on 13. We've got our lineups all ready to go. Very similar to Sparky Bowl 1 lineup, but we'll save some time and just hit the lineups as they occur in the batting order. The fast action deck is been shuffled and cut and ready to go. And we've got our first at bat, and it's going to be Pete Rose. Pete Rose against Dan Petrie. Opening pitch from Petrie. It is a 10. Since Petrie is a PB26, that 10 means we are off Pete Rose's card. So the next flip will determine what happens to Pete Rose. It is a 57, and 57 finds the out range of Pete Rose, which is 54 to 88. So Rose is out. He is considered a SN, which is a switch hitter normal power. So the out result on a switch hitter normal power is a pop-up to the pitcher. So Petrie must have jammed Rose and got him to pop one up right to the mound. And Petrie took it himself, one away. And that will bring up the second baseman, Joe Morgan. And one thing to note on Morgan's card, because of his speed, it says he steals second after a single on his own card, or after reaching first base on his own card. I guess that's what it would imply. Whether it be walk, single, error, or whatnot, if he reaches based on what he did on his own card, not on the pitcher card, it will be an automatic steal. So we'll keep that in mind. Joe Morgan to the plate. It's a number 8, so we are off Morgan's card. And the flip for Morgan is a 17, and a 17, just right on schedule. It's a base hit to center field. A base hit to center field. Now, before he automatically steals, we do need to check for an error because of the fact that the single was off the batter card. So we need to check and make sure Chet Lemon did not make an error, which he probably didn't. He did not. So in that case, Morgan will single, and he will steal second base while Johnny Bench is at bat. So the single off of Petrie moves him down a notch to 13. Petrie does not lose anything for the stolen base, just for the hit. So Johnny Bench is up. He works fast and doesn't stink because of Blue Emu. So he is ready to roll and see if he can't knock in Joe Morgan. Here is the flip off of Petrie. It is a 7, so we're still off Johnny Bench. We haven't had a Petrie result yet. Here is Bench. It's an 18, and an 18 for Bench is actually a double to left field. So Bench doubles, that will score Joe Morgan and the Reds strike first here at the top of the first. We will check for an error on Rupert Jones, the left fielder. It's a 5-10. Rupert Jones, with his fielding rating of 5-10, he has an E rating of 0 actually, so he cannot make an error. So he will field the ball and get it back in, but not before bench doubles. That will knock down Petrie, 1 for the double and 1 for the run. It is now 1-0 Cincinnati, and that will bring up Tony Perez. Tony Perez, the cleanup hitter, and Petrie. It's an 11, so we still haven't found a Petrie result yet. Tony Perez, after an 11, is a 12. Okay, that's where the left-right factor comes in. When a right-handed pitcher faces a right-handed batter, the 12 no longer becomes a base hit. It is now a foul out to the catcher. So Tony Perez pops it up in foul ground. Lance Parrish makes the play. There are 2 away. Had the pitcher been left-handed, that would have been a hit. So that's where the one or two small chances for the lefty-righty split actually comes into play on the basic game. And that'll bring up George Foster. Can Petrie get his own card? He can. It's a 3. So Petrie to the dish. It's a 45. 45, he gets his own card chance, and it's a wild pitch. However, it may not be a wild pitch. We don't know. That's why we have to do a secondary check. And the secondary check, and these are 3rd edition rules that talk about this, and I'll show them here briefly. It says whenever a balk, wild pitch, or pass ball occurs as a result off of a pitcher's card, that's the key, off a pitcher's card, there is only a possibility of this outcome occurring, and only if there are men on base. If none are on, ignore, blah, blah, blah. If there are men on base and any of these results occur, flip a new fast action card and refer to the area labeled pitch at the top of the card. If the word no appears, there is no balk, wild pitch, or pass ball. So that is referring to this little word right here that says pitch, and it's going to be a yes-no result, either or, yes-no result. We don't use the result of the card that just happened, which was the 45 for the wild pitch result, or check. We're going to flip a new card, and we're looking for a yes-no in this pitch category. And the flip is a yes, so it is a wild pitch. Petrie does uncork a wild pitch, and bench will move over to third base on that wild pitch. So Petrie gets one chance off his own card, and it ends up being a wild pitch. So now pitcher reduction. Does a wild pitch take into effect? Yes, it does. It says reduced by 1 when any of the following occurs: a base hit, a base on balls, a run scored, a wild pitch, pass ball. So the wild pitch will reduce him down to a 10. Meanwhile, George Foster's still at bat with 2 outs and now bench at third. The flip is a 6, so Petrie gets the chance under his card again. It's a 64. This time there's an out. George Foster is a right-handed power hitter. It's a GX6, ground ball to short, Trammell with an asterisk, so we need to check for an error. There is no error, so Trammell makes the play. And the inning's over, but Cincinnati picks up a run on the Johnny Bench double, and after half inning of play here at Tiger Stadium, it is the Reds 1 and the Tigers coming to bat. Gary Nolan, right-hander, will start off facing Lou Whitaker. Sweet Lou. So here is the flip, and Gary Nolan is a 2.7 for his PB rating. So the flip is an 8, which means we are off Whitaker. And the next flip is an 81, so it doesn't matter. That's a large number. He is going to be out. Whitaker is a left-handed normal power hitter. Ground ball to Perez at first with an asterisk. We do the check for an error. There is none, so Whitaker meagerly grounds to Tony Perez at first base for out number 1. And that will bring up his double play partner, Alan Trammell. Alan Trammell. The flip is a 4, so we're under Nolan this time. It's a 46. Nolan's out range is 37 to 88, so it is going to be an out. Trammell is right normal. Right normal means it's a ground ball back to the pitcher, Nolan. He has an E rating of 4, so let's check for an error to make sure there is no error. There is none. So it's a ground ball back to the box, Trammell to Nolan, and there's 2 away. Just like that. And that will bring up the right fielder, Kirk Gibson. Kirk Gibson against Nolan. It is a BD, a clutch batting rating. So we'll see here, clutch batting rating for Gibson. If he gets anything of 42 or less, he has done some damage. So let's see what happens here. If it's over 42, it's a no play and we start over again. It is a 63, it's a no play, we start over again. So Gibson will try it again. It's a 7, this time it is under Nolan. And the result on Nolan's card of 43, that's in the out range. Gibson, left normal, is a ground ball to first, pitcher covering, but there is an asterisk, so we're going to check the error on the first baseman possibility. There is none, so Gibson grounds to Perez, who tosses to Nolan covering, and the inning's over just like that. 1, 2, 3. At the end of 1 here at Tiger Stadium in Sparky Bowl 2, it is the Reds 1 and the Tigers nothing. Ken Griffey is going to lead things off against Petrie here in the second. Petrie, a 5. That's under Petrie. It's a 32. 32 under Petrie is a strikeout. So Dan Petrie strikes out Griffey, out number 1. That will bring up Dave Concepcion. Concepcion, a 7. That is on Concepcion's card. Is a 14. So Concepcion, a base hit. Base hit to left field. We need to check an error for Rupert Jones. Oh, no, we don't have to because it's E0, so we don't have to check for an error there. But what we will do is move Petrie down 1 because of the base hit. So with 1 on and 1 out, that will bring up the center fielder, Cesar Geronimo. Cesar Geronimo. Flips is a 12, so we're under Geronimo. Next flip is a 38. Geronimo, 38 is a strikeout. So Petrie comes back to strike out Geronimo for out number 2. And since we're playing American League rules in this game, Dan Dreesen is your designated hitter batting in the 9th position. So Dan Dreesen, the flip off of Petrie. It's a clutch batting rating. And for Dreesen, it's anything below a 33. A 32 or less, 32 to 11, he's got something going here. It's a 67, so it's a no play. We'll try again. A 5. This time we're under Petrie. And Petrie, it's a 68. That is an out. Dreesen is a left-handed power hitter, which means he lines to Lou Whitaker to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Reds here in the second. We go to the bottom of the second. Score still Cincinnati 1 and Detroit nothing. Bottom of the second. Catcher Lance Parrish will lead things off against Nolan. The flip is a 9, so we're under Parrish's card. And the next flip's a 25. That could be good. 25, Lance Parrish is a home run. So Lance Parrish just deposited one, and that has tied the ball game for the Tigers. Lance Parrish, a leadoff home run here in the bottom of the second off of Gary Nolan. Nolan will go down 1 for the hit and 1 for the run. He's down to an 11. We are tied at 1 apiece, and Darrell Evans, the first baseman, steps to the plate. And the flip is a 12, so we're under Darrell Evans. And the next flip's a 74. Evans is going to be out as a left-handed power hitter. Left-handed power hitter is a ground ball to shortstop with an asterisk. So we have to check an error for Concepcion. There was none, so Concepcion made the error 1 away. That will bring up the center fielder, Chet Lemon. Chet Lemon, the number 6 hitter in the lineup. Chet Lemon. The flip is a 7, so that's going to go under Nolan. Nolan will get the control here. That flips a blank, so we're going to flip the next one. It is a 16. So a 16 is a base hit to left field. Base hit to left field for Lemon. That will knock Nolan down to a 10. Had there been a runner on base, he would have advanced 2 bases, but there was no runner on base. And since the hit was off the pitcher card, there is no error check necessary. Now that'll bring up the designated hitter, Johnny Grubb. Johnny Grubb, and he will be up to the plate. It's a 5, which is on Nolan's card. So the check on Nolan is a 21. A 21 is a base hit to center field, and as we had just mentioned, any single off the pitcher's card, automatic 2-base advancement. So Lemon will motor over to third base on the Grubb base hit. We'll move Nolan down to a 9. And now the Tigers have something going here in the second inning. They've already tied it, and now they have runners at the corners with 1 out for the left fielder Rupert Jones. So we'll see what he can do. It's a 6, so we're under Gary Nolan once again. The flip's a 76, so that's definitely an out. And Rupert Jones is a left-handed power hitter, but all batters will ground to third with an asterisk, though. So we check Pete Rose to make sure he didn't boot it. And let's take a look here and make sure Pete handled that, which he did. So since he handled it, that is a double play. 5-4, 4-3 around the horn double play to end the inning. But the Tigers do tie the score on the Lance Parrish home run. And after 2 complete here at Tiger Stadium, the score is Cincinnati 1 and Detroit 1. Pete Rose, as we're back to the top of the order, to face Dan Petrie. Rose popped meekly to Petrie his first time up. This is a 6, so we're under Petrie's card. It's an 81, so that is going to be an out. And then, if I can get these sticking apart here, the out is, for Pete Rose, switch normal, is a ground ball to third with an asterisk. So we check Tom Brookins for an error possibility, but there is none. Brookins makes the play. There is now 1 away. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan singled and stole second off his card his first time up, automatic steal. So let's see what happens this time. It's a 4, so it won't be off his card. We'll be off Petrie's card. It's a 58. That's in the out range on Petrie. Morgan, left normal hitter, is a ground ball to Whitaker at second with an asterisk. So we do need to do the error check. And the error check says none. So Whitaker made the play. 1 second baseman grounding to another. There's now 2 away for Johnny Bench, who had that big double in the first at bat. Here's the flip. It's a 6, which is under Petrie. And then the next flip is a 43. 43, Petrie is a walk. So Johnny Bench with a 2-out walk. That will lower Petrie down to an 8. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Tony Perez. Perez popped to Lance Parrish his first time up. It's an 8, so we're under Perez's card. And the next flip is a 46. Perez, 46, is a strikeout. So Perez strikes out. Inning is over. And we go to the bottom of the third with the score still tied at 1. And leading off for the Tigers will be the number 9 hitter, third baseman Tom Brookins. Tom Brookins. And the flip is a 10, so we're under Brookins' card. The result is an 84. That means he's out. The right normal is a ground ball to first with an asterisk, so we check Tony Perez for a possible error. There was none. So Brookins grounds to Perez meekly. That is 1 away now. And we go back to the top of the order for Lou Whitaker, who also grounded to Perez his first time up. So let's see. It's a 9, so we're under Whitaker in his card. And the next flip's an 83. 83 means he's out. Next flip is a fly ball to center field. So Whitaker flies out to Geronimo for out number 2. And that'll bring up Alan Trammell. Trammell grounded back to the pitcher his first time up. Trammell against Nolan. Flips a 9, so we do use Trammell's card. The result is a 28. Could be good. A 28 for Trammell is a double to center field. So Alan Trammell with a 2-out double. We checked Geronimo for potential error. There was none. And we'll move Nolan down to an 8 on the SR rating. So Trammell in scoring position with 2 outs for Kirk Gibson. Kirk Gibson grounded out his first time up. The flip's a 10, so we're under Gibson's card. We are under Mr. Gibson. The next flip is a 58. A 58 is hit by the pitch. So Gibson gets plunked by Gary Nolan. So we reduce Gary Nolan one more notch. And that puts runners at first and second base. First and second base. And Lance Parrish with a chance to drive home the go-ahead run. Lance Parrish, the flip is a 7. We're under Nolan with that flip, so Gary Nolan controls. It's a 37, and Gary Nolan 37 is barely in his out range, but it is. So we check the out result on a right-handed power hitter such as Parrish. It's a fly ball to deep left with an asterisk, so we check George Foster for potential error. There was none. It's just a warning track fly ball to end the inning. And after 3 complete here at Tiger Stadium, the score is the Reds won and the Tigers won. All right, top of the 4th, and we have reshuffled the fast action card deck, flipped them over, cut them, and ready to go. George Foster will be leading off the top of the 4th. He grounded to short his first time up. Result is a 10, and that falls under Foster's card. The next result is an 84, so that is going to be an out. Foster is a right-handed power hitter, but in this case, all outs go to first on a ground out, but there is an asterisk. Check Darrell Evans for an error. There was none. And so Foster grounds out to Darrell Evans. 1 away, and that'll bring up Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey, he struck out his first time up. The result is a 9, so we are under Griffey. It's a 26. That could be good. 9-26 for Griffey is a single to right field. So Griffey gets a 1-out single. That will require a check on Kirk Gibson for an error rating. There was none. And it will move Petrie down to a 7. So now Griffey, it's pretty good speed. He's got an OBR of A and a speed of B. So, they could take a chance here, and I believe they will. So Griffey's going to attempt to steal against Lance Parrish. So let's check the flip. It's a 23. The 23 says any runner rated speed A, B, or C steals. So it is a stolen base for Ken Griffey. Gets himself into scoring position for Dave Concepcion, who did single his last time up. But with 1 out, Griffey with good speed is at second base. Here is the flip. It's a 6, so Petrie's in control. It's an 83, so that is an out. Concepcion is a right-handed normal batter, but all batters in this case fly to center. 2 down, and that'll bring up Cesar Geronimo. Cesar Geronimo struck out his first time up. Here is the flip. It is a 5, so we're off of Petrie. The next result is a 22. So 22 off of Petrie is a base hit to right field. And remember the rule, any single off a pitcher's card is an automatic 2-base advance. So therefore, Ken Griffey has crossed the plate via his single and stolen base. Geronimo has knocked him in with the base hit. So we lose a notch for the base hit and a notch for the run. So Petrie is down to a 5 already on his reduction here in the 4th inning. So the bullpen for the Tigers could be stirring quickly. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, number 9 hitter, Dan Dreesen. Dreesen, it's a 9, so we are under Dreesen. It's a 78, so he is out as a left-handed power hitter. left-handed power hitter. He flies to right. So fly ball to right will end the inning. The Reds do pick up a run and lead the Tigers by the score of 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. And to start that bottom of the fourth, Darrell Evans will lead things off. He grounded to short his first time up. Here's Nolan. It's an 8, so we're under Evans's card. And it's a 25, so that could be good. And you better believe it's good. Darrell Evans has just hit a home run to tie the ball game. 22-25 is his home run wheel. And so he has just done it, a solo home run. Second home run allowed by Nolan, as Parrish hit a solo home run to lead off the second inning. Evans hits a solo home run to lead off the fourth. So that is now a tie ball game. And we go to Nolan and reduce him by 2. 1 for the hit and 1 for the run. So they're both at a 5 reduction rating. And Sparky is somewhat happy about that and somewhat disappointed about that because he's got interest in both sides. Chet Lemon, the batter. It's a 12, so it'll be over Lemon's card to determine. Next flip's a 74, so that is an out. Lemon is a right-handed power hitter, and the right-handed power hitter hits a ground ball to second with an asterisk. Check Joe Morgan to make sure he did not boot it. He did not, so Morgan makes the play. 1 away, so Chet Lemon is gone, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Johnny Grubb. Johnny Grubb. And Nolan, it's a 7, so we're still under Nolan. The next flip is blank, so we go to the next one. It's in 16. So Johnny Grubb, a 16 is a base hit off of the pitcher card, but nobody's on base to advance, but there is going to be a reduction down to a 4 for Nolan. And now Rupert Jones is the batter. He grounded into a double play his first time up. This is a 5, so we're under Nolan. The next flip is a 21. A 21 is a base hit to center, and by rule, Grubb will go to third. 2 bases. And that will move Nolan down to a 3. And the red Sparky is nervously walking up and down the dugout, getting on the phone to the bullpen. And it looks like frantically warming up is going to be Pedro Bourbon. So Sparky not wasting time. He was known as Captain Hook when he was with the Reds in particular. So Pedro Bourbon is in the bullpen loosening in the event that Nolan needs assistance. So Tom Brookins is up with the runners at the corners and only 1 out. The flip is a 7, so Nolan controls. The next flip is an 18. So again, a base hit off the pitcher card. That will result in Nolan going down to a 1. 1 for the hit and 1 for the run because Grubb comes around to score. And Jones, who was on first, occupies third now. Runners at first and third again. And the Tigers have now taken a 3-2 lead. 3-2 lead, and Lou Whitaker is up to bat. Runners at the corner, still only 1 out. And the flip is an 8, so that goes to Lou Whitaker's card. And the next flip is a 13. So that is a base hit to left field for Lou Whitaker. That will score Rupert Jones. Brookins will stop at second base. Nolan is off the chart now for his reduction rating, giving up the hit and the run. And that's going to do it for Nolan. His night is done. And while we get things sorted out and the new pitcher comes to the ball game, we'll be right back. Okay, new Reds pitcher getting his warm-up tosses in is Pedro Bourbon. Can't close the book yet on Gary Nolan because 2 runners on base are his responsibility. Brookins at second and Whitaker at first. So we cannot close the book on him yet. It's not a very good book, so he's looking to close it pretty quickly. Alan Trammell steps in, and Bourbon will see if he can keep the Tigers right where they are. The flip's a 5, so we are under Bourbon's card. The next check's a 17, so it is yet another base hit off the pitcher card. Bourbon started as an 8 on his reduction rating. He's now a 6, giving up a base hit plus a run, because Brookins will come around from second to score via the 2 base advancement on a base hit off the pitcher card. So they're just going first to third, and the Tigers keep rolling. Here now is Kirk Gibson. Bourbon with the pitch, it's a 5, so we're under Bourbon. It's an 88. So again, it is done. He is done in off the lefty-righty split, left-handed batter versus a right-handed pitcher. But in this case, it's only going to be a 1 base advancement via the chart. I'm going by the chart. It's going to override the batter result there, because it was not a single off of his card. It was a single off the board. So it's a single for Gibson. That will score Whitaker, and we'll move Trammell up a base to second base. Now we can close the book on Nolan, because both those inherited runners did score. 5 runs this inning so far. So Nolan has given up 6 runs in 3 1/3 innings pitched. 9 hits, 6 runs. Didn't walk anybody, didn't strike out anybody. He did hit a batter. So an outing he would like to forget, I am sure. But Bourbon is not faring too much better here in the 4th. And that base hit will again score a run. So a reduction of 2 more down to a 4. So that will bring up Lance Parrish. And again, there's only 1 out. So the Tigers looking to bat around here. Lance Parrish, the batter. Bourbon, a 7, which is up under Bourbon's card. Bourbon is hoping for a high number here on this flip. He's been getting a lot of low numbers here lately. Okay, let's get the flip. It is a 67, so he did get it this time. Parrish is a right-handed power hitter. It's a G4 asterisk, so that looks like a double play, and it is, because there's no error. So they get out of the inning on a 4-6-6-3 double play to keep it from going any further. But as it was, the Tigers score 5 here in the bottom of the 4th and grab a commanding 6-2 lead as we go to the 5th inning. However, they weren't called the big red machine for nothing, so this is far from over. All right, Pete Rose will lead off the top of the 5th against Petrie. Petrie, the pitch is the result is a 3, so we're under Petrie's card. It's a 54, which is an out. And the designated out is going to be switch normal. It is going to be a ground ball to second baseman Whitaker with an asterisk. There is no error, so Pete Rose grounds to Lou Whitaker for out number 1. And that will bring up Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan. Petrie, the pitch is an 8, so we're under Morgan's card. It's a 28. 28 for Joe Morgan, and that is a double to right field. So Joe Morgan with a double. That will reduce Petrie down to a 4. Since it was off the batter's card, we need to check Kirk Gibson to make sure there was no error. There was not. So Morgan is at second base with 1 out, and Johnny Bench is the batter. He has doubled and walked. Here's the flip. It's a 10, so we're under Johnny Bench. See what he can do here. The flip is a 58. 58 for Johnny Bench is a walk. So Johnny Bench walks. That'll reduce Petrie down to a 3. And that'll bring up Tony Perez. And Tony Perez with a chance to close the gap here. Here is the flip. It is a 7, so we're under Perez. And the next flip is a 37. That could be good. Oh, he just missed it. Perez, 37, is a strikeout. So he just missed a home run there. He was going for the downs. But now there are 2 away. And with 2 away, George Foster steps to the plate. Here's the flip. It's a 5, so Petrie's card is being used. It's a 34. Petrie, 34, is a strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts for Petrie as he clamps down and keeps the Reds from rallying here in the top of the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Score still stands at Detroit 6 and the Reds 2. And leading off the inning will be Darrell Evans. He led off last inning with a home run. So see if he can strike again. It's a 7, but that's under Pedro Bourbone's card, so Bourbon will get the call. It's a 41, and a 41 is the lowest out rating Bourbon has, but it is an out. Left-handed power hitter check is a ground ball to Morgan with an asterisk. So we check to make sure Morgan did not make an error, and he did not. So therefore, Darrell Evans grounds out to Morgan, out number 1. To start the bottom of the 5th. Chet Lemon, the batter. Chet Lemon. Here's the flip. It's a 3, so that's under Bourbon. And the next flip is a 75, so that is an out. And it's a fly ball to left. So 2 down. Very quickly as Bourbon tries to get some order back into the game for the Reds. And Johnny Grubb, the batter. Grubb is 2 for 2 with a run scored. It's an 8, so we are under Johnny Grubb's card. It is an 81. He is going to be out. Left-handed power hitter is a ground ball to Perez with an asterisk. Double check the error. There was none. So he grounds out. And 3 up, 3 down for the Tigers here in the 5th. So after 5 complete from Tiger Stadium, score remains Tigers 6 and the Reds 2. And Ken Griffey will lead off the top of the 6th against Petrie. Griffey, a 4, which is under Petrie. The result is a 46. Petrie 46 is the lowest out possible, but it is an out. And that out is going to be a ground ball back to Petrie. He is an E1, so not likely he made an error. He did not. So simply a 1-3 ground out for Griffey. 1 away, and shortstop Dave Concepcion steps to the plate. Concepcion, it's an 11, so we're off Concepcion's card. It is a 12. A 12 would have been a hit, but that right-left strikes again. 12, righty versus righty, is a foul to the catcher. So Concepcion fouls out to Lance Parrish for out number 2. So that's the second time that has happened to the Reds. It happened to Tony Perez in the 1st inning. So there's 2 away. And that will bring up Cesar Geronimo. Cesar Geronimo, 2 out spaces empty. It's a 3, which is under Petrie. It's a 62, which is an out. It's a ground ball to first baseman Darrell Evans with an asterisk. So we do have to check for the error. There is none. So it's a ground ball to first, and the inning's over. So we go to the bottom of the 6th, still 6-2 in favor of the Tigers. All right, Rupert Jones is leading off. Bourbon's still in there. He's been known to pitch a few innings, especially when he's pitching effectively. So it's an 8, and that's going to be off of Rupert Jones's card. It's a 58, and Rupert Jones 58 is a walk. So Rupert Jones draws a leadoff walk, reduces Bourbon down to a 3, from a 4 to a 3, and that brings up the 3rd baseman, Tom Brookins. The check is a 7, which is Bourbon. The next flip is a 62, which is going to be an out. And right normal out is a fly ball to center field. So Brookins flies out to Geronimo for out number 1. And we flip the order over and back to Lou Whitaker at the top. Lou Whitaker. The flip is a 7, which is Bourbon. The next flip is a 55, which is in the out range. Left normal, but it's a pop out to first base no matter who it is. So Whitaker pops out to Perez for out number 2. And that'll bring up Alan Trammell. Alan Trammell. The flip is in 9, so that goes to Alan Trammell. The next flip is a 74, so Trammell is going to be out. Right normal is a line out to the first baseman, Perez. So the inning is over, and nothing doing for the Tigers here in the 6th. After 6 complete, it's still the Tigers 6 and the Reds 2. Top of the 7th, Dan Dreesen, the designated hitter, will lead things off. The deck has been flipped, shuffled, and cut, ready to go. So Dan Petrie, who was shaky early, has really settled down pretty well. Still hanging on there at a SR rating of 3 right now. So Petrie, the delivery to Dreesen, it's an 8, so that means we're off Dreesen's card. Dreesen, a 48. Dreesen, a 48 is a walk. So Dan Dreesen leads off the 7th inning with a walk. Petrie is now down to a 2. And with that, we get bullpen action. Aurelio Lopez is loosening in the Tiger bullpen. Aurelio Lopez. So now Pete Rose will step into the batter's box with nobody out and Dreesen at first. The flip is a 7. That's going to be Pete Rose's card. Next flip's at 84, so Rose is going to be out. He is a switch normal batter, switch normal power. It's a fly ball to left field for everybody. So Pete Rose flies out to Rupert Jones, 1 away, and that'll bring up Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan, little Joe. Little Joe. Here's the flip. It's a 12, so we're under Morgan. Next flip is a 38. Morgan 38 is a walk. So Morgan walks. That will move Dreesen up to second base. And the result about Morgan stealing after getting to first base on his own card is not going to fly this time because Dreesen is in his way. So runners at first and second. 1 out. And that'll bring up Johnny Bench. And Sparky has seen enough of Dan Petrie, so he's making a call to the bullpen, and we'll be right back. Okay, a new Tiger pitcher is Aurelio Lopez. His relief rating, reduction rating is a 7, so he will start out as a 7. Close the book on Dan Petrie. He went 6 1/3 innings. Well, actually, we can't close the book because 2 runners on base, but so far, 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits. Walked 4, struck out 5, and so far given up 2 runs, but 2 runners on base are his responsibility. So Johnny Bench steps in against new pitcher Aurelio Lopez, who is a 2.7 for his PB rating. Here is the flip. It's a 4, so we are under Lopez. And the next flip's a 56. That is going to be an out. Now, what kind of an out for Bench? He's a right-handed power hitter. And that will be a pop-up to Lou Whitaker. So Bench pops to second base for out number 2, and that will bring up Tony Perez. Tony Perez against Lopez. It's an 8. That's going to be under Perez's card. Next flip's a 22 for Perez. That is a base hit to right field. A base hit to right field. And Dreesen, who doesn't run all that well, is going to hold up there, especially being down 6-2. They're going to play station to station ball here. And the bases will now be loaded. Although with 2 outs, they might go ahead and send him. So let's take a look about sending him. It would make sense now that I think about it. Sparky is managing against himself, schizophrenic managing. So he's trying to figure out the offensive and defensive calls here. So Perez, if we check on Dreesen, Dreesen's OBR rating is actually an A, so he actually is a pretty good base runner. So he's an OBR of A. The base hit, number 22, went to right field, so we check Kirk Gibson. Kirk Gibson is a T3 thrower. So if we check the second to home, A T3 is 11-56. But we add 20 points when there's 2 outs, so it's an 11-76. So pretty good chances there, but we'll flip anyway, 11-76, and he scores easily. So Lopez gives up the hit and the run, knocks him down to a 5, and Dreesen will score on the single by Perez. Morgan will stop at second. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. And that will now bring up George Foster. George Foster. So here is the pitch from Lopez to Foster. It is a 9, so we're under Foster. The next flip's a 21. Foster, 21. That's a base hit to right field. Base hit to right by Foster. We checked for an error to make sure there was no error on Gibson. There's not. Morgan will score. Perez will stop at second base. So a second run is coming. It is now a 6-4 ball game for the Reds. Now making the connection here. Actually, Morgan does not score automatically. We do need to check. Morgan again at A, so it's 11 through a 76 just like the last time, but I can't just presume that, so I flip. It's a 21, and Morgan officially now has scored. So runners at first and second. 2 outs, 2 are in, and Ken Griffey is the batter. Ken Griffey, it's a 5, so we are under Lopez. And the next flip is a 36. Lopez 36 is a strikeout. So Lopez has come back to strike out Griffey to finally get out of it. But 2 runs come in for the Reds. Both of those runs are charged to Petrie, the starter. He now has given up 4 runs in his 6 1/3 innings. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time at Tiger Stadium with the score Detroit 6 and Cincinnati 4. Okay, bottom of the 7th, and new Reds pitcher is Will McEnany, the left-hander. His production rating as a reliever is a 6. He will be starting out facing left-handed hitting Kirk Gibson to start the bottom of the 7th. So McEnany, who is a PB28. So the flip is a CD, so we're doing a clutch defensive check. First one of the game, and we're checking the catcher, Johnny Bench. So Johnny Bench is being checked for his clutch defense. Clutch defense rating for Johnny Bench is a 4. So he is clutch defense 4. So Johnny Bench is a clutch defense 4. We go to the clutch defense chart. Clutch defense table, I should say. I guess it's officially called. Clutch defense table for the catcher. And we're looking at number 4, CD rated 4. And in this case, anything a 42 or less, and it's going to be no play. So we'll do the flip and see what happens. It is a 67, so there is no play. So back to resumption with Kirk Gibson. It is a 6, which is under McEnany. And the next check for McEnany is a 35, and that is a strikeout under McEnany. So Gibson strikes out. So McEnany comes into the game. First batter strikes out Kirk Gibson. And that'll bring up Lance Parrish. Lance Parrish. The flip, it's a 10, so we are under Lance Parrish this time. It's a 55, and a 55 is in the out range for Lance Parrish. He is a right-handed power hitter, which means he grounds to Concepcion at short. There is an asterisk. So we check for an error. There is none because Concepcion is only a 2 error, and this is showing a 10. So Parrish grounds to short, 2 away. So McEnany has come in and gotten the first 2 batters out. Now it's another lefty on lefty matchup as we have Darrell Evans, the first baseman, stepping to the plate. McEnany is a 5, so we're going to be using McEnany's card. It's a 13, so that is a base hit for Darrell Evans. No error check because it's off the pitcher card, but McEnany is now down to a 5 for his reduction rating. And Chet Lemon, the batter. It's a BD, clutch batting rating. Chet Lemon, anything 43 or less, he's done some damage. Let's see what happens. The flip is an 86, so it's a no play. Start again. The flip is a 6, so we're under McEnany. The next flip is a 17. That is a base hit to center field. And by rule, it's a 2-base advancement for Evans. So runners are now at the corners with 2 outs. And McEnany's down to a 4. So runners are at the corners, 2 outs. Johnny Grubb, the designated hitter, is the scheduled batter. He is being called back because he's left-handed. They're going to go for the percentages here. And they're going to bring in Barbaro Garbe. So Barbaro Garbe is going to pinch hit for Johnny Grubb. He will pinch hit for Johnny Grubb. Grubb was 2 for 3 with the run scored, but they're going to play the percentages. Garbe against McEnany. It's a 4, so we are under McEnany. And the next flip, if I can get these things apart here. Next flip is an 11. An 11. So, good thing they played the percentages, because had Grubb batted, it would have been a strikeout. Instead, an 11 is an infield hit. And an infield hit with the runners at the corners means that the run scores. So we reduce McEnany by 1 for the hit and 1 for the run. Obviously, there's not a two-base advancement on an infield hit. So Garbe singles, Evans will score, and Lemon stops at second. And that will bring up the left fielder, Rupert Jones. But Rupert Jones will not bat either. With McEnany the pitcher, they're going to go to the better fielding left fielder, right-handed hitter, Larry Herndon. So Larry Herndon, plus it helps their defense a little bit as well. So it's a twofold option here. Sparky does have Clay Carroll warming up in the bullpen. Clay Carroll frantically warming in the bullpen. Larry Herndon, the pinch hitter now for Rupert Jones, and he will take over to play left field in the bottom of the, the top of the 8th. So, Larry Herndon facing McEnany. It's a 6. We are under McEnany. It's a 12. So once again, the lefty-righty splits come into play. Or they would have had he been a left-handed batter. It's simply here a single to left. But this time it's a two-base advancement on that single. So Herndon, with the base hit, scores Lemon. And Garbe will move over to third. That knocks McEnany out of the running there. He will be exiting the ball game. And we'll take a break as we get to the new pitcher. Okay, Clay Carroll is on as the new pitcher. He is a reduction rating of 7. He'll be facing Tom Brookins. There's a Z, so we have an unusual results play. And the flip is a 71. And on the unusual results play, under number 71, that is a fielding table chart lookup. So we've got the fielding table right here. Flip a new random number to check that. And it's a 23. So a 23 says shortstop muffs grounder, batter safe on error, runners advance 1 base, unless the shortstop is a clutch defense 4. Concepcion is only a clutch defense 3, so it is going to be an error. So Brookins will reach on the error by Concepcion. That will score Garbe, and that will move Herndon to second. Yet another run has scored, this one unearned, but hardly matters at this point whether it's earned or not. Another run has scored, and now Lou Whitaker is coming to the plate. Another Z, back-to-back Z results. So we're going to check the result again. It's a 55, and that's also under the fielding table. So we're going to flip for the fielding table again. It's a 54, and this one says difficult grounder to third base. If CD 1-2 scores an error and runners advance 1 base, if CD 3-4, batter is out. So Pete Rose, if we check Pete Rose, he is a CD3. So a CD3 means that in this case, the batter is out and the Reds are out of the inning. So Pete Rose keeps it from getting any worse. So the Tigers do pick up 3 runs here in the bottom of the 7th and now take a commanding 9-4 lead after 7. Top of the 8th, new pitcher for the Tigers is Doug Bayer. It'll be Concepcion to lead it off. It's a 9, that's under Concepcion. It's an 84, Concepcion is out. Right normal is a pop-up to the third baseman, Brookins. Check for an error, there is none, so it is a pop-up to Brookins for out number 1. And we'll move on to Cesar Geronimo. Geronimo, it's a 6, so we're under Bayer. It's a 63, he is out. Geronimo is a left normal, which means he flies to center. out number 2. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Dan Dreesen. Dreesen is up. The flip is a 7, so we're under Dreesen's card. And the result is a 73, which means he is out. Left-handed power hitter is a ground ball to Trammell at short with an asterisk, but no error. So it's a 6-3 ground out to end the inning quickly here in the top of the 8th. Go to the bottom of the 8th, still score of 9-4. Alan Trammell deleted off against Clay Carroll. It's a 5. That is off of Carroll's card. It is a 38. That is a walk. Carroll at 38 is a walk. So Trammell draws a leadoff walk to start the inning. Carroll down to a 5 on his rating. And Kirk Gibson, the batter. Gibson, a 10, so we are under Gibson's card. The next one is a 34. And Gibson has put the coup de grace in this game. He has just hit a 2-run home run for Kirk Gibson. 2-run shot. And that now makes it an 11-4 ball game. Clay Carroll dejected. The Cincinnati Sparky Anderson side is dejected. The Sparky Anderson Detroit side is elated. Here's Lance Parrish. It's a 6, which is under Carroll. It's a 37, so Carroll walks. Lance Parrish, 1 down, or nobody out, and Parrish is on first base for Darrell Evans. Darrell Evans, the batter. It's a 3, so we're under Carroll. It's an 85, which is an out. It's a G4, so that's a potential double play, and there is no error, so it is a 4-6, 6-3 double play for quickly 2 away. And 2 away very quickly now with Chet Lemon, the batter. So Chet Lemon will get the chance to make an at-bat here. Oops, that's a 4 for Carroll, and that's blank, so we go to the next card. That is a 37. 37 is yet another walk. So Clay Carroll walks, and he's down to a 1 on reduction, so the next thing he gives up, he'll be done. Garbe, the batter. It's a clutch defense. Clutch defensive check is on the first baseman, Perez. The number is a 54 for clutch defense, which is a no play. It's too high to make it on the chart. So we try again. Garbe with an 11. It's a 66, so Garbe is out. And the next flip is a ground ball to short for Concepcion. He makes the play, inning over. So the Reds give up 2 more runs on the 2-run homer. We go to the 9th. Score is 11-4. Okay, top of the 9th, 11-4, and just for kicks and giggles, the closer, Willie Hernandez, is in, and he will be facing Pete Rose to start things off. The flip is a clutch defense right off the bat. It is a center fielder, Chet Lemon. It's a 76, so that's irrelevant. We go to the next play. It's a 9, so that is in Willie Hernandez's range. He's a PB9. So under Hernandez, an 85 is an out, and Pete Rose is switched normal, which means he flies to right field. So Pete Rose flies to right for out number 1, and that'll bring up Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan, it's a 5, so we are under under Hernandez. It's a 32. Willie Hernandez has just struck out Joe Morgan for out number 2. Last chance for the Reds. It'll be Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench. Bench. The flip is a 4, which is Hernandez. A 53, which is an out. And the out result is a pop-up to the first baseman, Darrell Evans. And the ball game is over. So, in Sparky Bowl 2, the Tigers lay waste to the Reds in Statis Pro. And now Sparky, the Detroit Sparky, is gloating and is seeking redemption from getting beaten in Game 1. So with the split like that, it could mean that we are in line for somewhere down the road a Sparky Bowl 3 to settle it once and for all. We shall see. But right now from Sparky Bowl 2, we're done. Final score once again. The Tigers laying waste to the Reds. The final score, the Tigers 11 and the Reds 4. Good night, everybody.